Howdy, y'all. My name is Jared Hipwood. I had the distinct pleasure of serving with Alexander in the Peace Corps. And first of all, I want to say how honored I am to be here speaking for Alexander. How happy I am to be meeting the family and TJ. It's been a pleasure. And I do apologize, I prepared this days before. It's long in 2 minutes, but less than 10. I do apologize. There are some people we meet, and you just hit it off. Alexander and I from the go. From the go. That first night in Philadelphia, just laughing, joking, a lot of deep conversations, a lot of shallow conversations. He's a great guy. It's been said that when we leave for Peace Corps, we leave all of our mirrors behind. And we really see who we've become. Alexander became a lot of things. I'm only going to touch on 3 of the tributes that I feel he really exemplified more than any others. First and foremost, Alexander was kind. Alexander was real kind. I remember at one point, after one of our grappling matches, we were talking to some of the locals in Kyrgyzstan in Russian. And you all don't know this, but Alexander had a horrendous Russian accent. Horrible. Great grammar, great vocab, horrible accent. So we're talking at one point, he translates something for me thinking that I don't understand, which I didn't. And then later that night he pulls me aside, he said, "Hey man, I just want to apologize. I didn't want you to feel less than intelligent. And, I apologize for that." That takes a certain level of maturity and consideration that most people don't have. Our boy Alexander had it in spades. The second attribute I want to touch on, which is the one I feel he most exuded, Alexander was one of the most positive cats I have ever met. He just spewed positivity. I mean, after hanging out with him, you just felt covered in this light and festiveness. He had this intoxicating effect on all the volunteers, on everybody, all the locals, worked in an orphanage, kids loved him. The last attribute that I want to say some of you know about, probably the majority of you, Alexander, let's be real, Alexander was a goofball. Alexander was one of the silliest human beings I've ever met in my life. And we connected on that level. I'd be mid-conversation with him, mid-sentence, and he'd just do this beep boop bop boop boop beep boop bop boop boop boop. Dance. What was his dance he always did? I know he's still with us. I know he's out there laughing with us right now. And I have 2 tales that I'm going to tell, then I have my final words here. In the Kyrgyzstan, he was out hiking, right? He was out camping with some other volunteers. And I'd never heard of oxygen poisoning. I didn't know some of its more interesting effects on the brain, neither had he. So that they're hiking very high elevation. He's in his tent here with our good friend Taylor. And in the middle of the night, he's waking Taylor up. T, man, wake up. Ah, it's not what? What's going on? T, man. James Earl Jones is talking to me. Alex, man. I think you need to go to bed. James Earl Jones, man, he said the world's going to end in 2008. Alexander, man, it's 2009. I know, that's why it's so weird. I gotta help him, man. I gotta help James Earl. I gotta save the world. So I should go to bed, man. The next morning, they wake up, heading back down the hill. Taylor said that when he was recounting the story to Alexander, he said it was the hardest he'd ever seen Alexander laugh. And we saw Alexander laugh a lot. The last story I'm going to tell is about a seminar we had. So all the Peace Corps volunteers were 6 months in. We're at this seminar. It's tradition at this seminar to have a bonfire. And it's also tradition to jump over the bonfire. You know, now most of us kind of wait for the bonfire to get down more of a jumpable level. So, you know, the volunteers are kind of going around the fire going, man, we'll just give it a minute. Then here comes our boy.
Please demonstrate it.
Yeah, he's demonstrating it.
But I think these stories really do exemplify what Alexander was all about. Even in a oxygen-deprived, hallucinogenic state, he was still about service. He was about serving a higher purpose. And Alexander was always the first to jump. Whether that be new experiences, defending people, or simply to be outrageous and weird to let other people know it's all right to be weird. It's okay to be yourself, to do what you want to do. Alexander didn't wade through life. Alexander lived his life. Alexander was exuberantly positive, as should we be. Now, after I say my final words here, which will be directly to Sasha, we call him Sasha. In Russian, Alexander's a nickname for Sasha. But after I'm done here, I'd hope you'd all join me in basically a standing ovation, a showing of exuberance to celebrate Alexander and the qualities that he lived for. Sasha, my man. Last thing you said to me was that was your boy. I'll always be your boy. I love you, my man, so much. Thank you all.